Hello everyone, it's Patricia and welcome to my channel. Today is our first official installment of Tester Tuesday. It's very early here this morning, so I have to speak kind of quietly, so I'll try to raise the volume when I do the editing of the video. So what I decided to do, if you haven't checked out the original video, was I was accumulating a lot of testers, and I've only been a consultant since February, so most times when people accumulate testers, it's because they've been a consultant for years, and as you get a new catalog, you buy tester sets that are transition sets for that catalog, and so sometimes you will get similar scents over and over of scents that are returning. But where I've been buying destashes and things like that, that's where I've been getting testers. And I kind of noticed that they were piling up, they weren't getting used, so I decided the most recent destash I purchased gave me an idea. So what I decided to do in an attempt to use up my testers, I thought, well, I might as well review a couple scents each week and involve my viewers and subscribers, and it'll be more of an interactive process. So, and sometimes the scents are retired, but you never know, they might come back on Bring Back My Bar, or maybe there's a local consultant to you that might be selling those bars, and so, you know, it's always a good thing to hear about scents. So what I wanted to say, I'll start with testers. So as a consultant, we get party testers and mini testers. I prefer the party because they're bigger and I can smell them better, but mini testers obviously work best because they're small. What I tend to do is keep one of each, and I also have two full sets of mini testers that I keep as like basket parties, bag parties, stuff like that. I don't do a lot of that kind of stuff, but I like to have them just in case. So, you know, I still have a lot of testers in back, but I have my little tester box, so we'll be drawing from those today. So this one might take a little longer just because I have to go over a couple things. If you are a customer, there's a chance you might get a tester in one of your orders. So sometimes consultants might give you a mini tester or even a party tester of a scent, you know, just in case they have a lot of testers like me and they want to kind of share the love. If you get one of these testers and you're thinking, what do I do with this? There's a couple things you can do. Now, I picked up one of these from one of my Scentsy deals, and I thought, well, I'm never going to use this. And I actually kind of, I don't know if you can see this, but I kind of damaged the end somehow. But if you have something like this, there's a slight curve on it. If you have something like this, you can stick this directly in the tester. I don't really want to do it to this one, but if you stick it directly in, a lot of times if you just stick it in and pull out, it comes out. Now this one doesn't really have any air around the seal here, so it might not come out easily. But the other thing you could do is take the lid off and sit it upside down in your warmer. So your warmer is here and you sit it upside down, and it will gradually heat this and it'll just drop out. And there's some that if you have a mini warmer, it will not contact flat, so it does take longer to drop out, but it will drop out. You can do that, okay? Just as a side note, these work great to get wax out. They work great to stir the wax. I really don't think you should be using a knife of any kind in your warmer, and even something like this, like I should get a new one because this one's kind of damaged. So anyway, that is that. Okay, one other thing I wanted to mention quickly. As a customer, you would probably get a little sample in a bag. And what I like to do is, I don't have a ton of customers, but I include like a little info sheet. And on my info sheet, I have written about samples. It says, I like to provide seasonal samples for you to try with your order. I encourage you to warm these quickly as they are stored in bags that are not designed to lock in the scent. This means that over time, the small samples will gradually lose scent. Plus, it's nice to try the new scents soon in case you end up loving them. Many scents may only be available for 6 months before switching to a new catalog. Keep in mind that scents change when warmed, so try the sample to get a full picture of the scent. And due to their small size, the scent may not last as long as a full cube, but it will be long enough to get an idea of whether or not it's a scent you like or love enough to order. So typically samples that are given to customers are probably only about 1/4 of a cube or so. It depends on how big the consultant makes the samples. But I always like to tell the customers that, because sometimes they just put the samples aside and they forget about them, and then gradually they're losing their scent. So it's really important to warm your samples. Okay, let's get into today so I can stop babbling. Okay, so today we had 2 scents. The first scent was Pink Haze, and we had a 3-way tie for second, so I had a coworker draw, and she drew Sticky Cinnamon Bun. So what I'm going to do is just kind of give you my lowdown. Okay, so Pink Haze. Pink Haze was a scent of the month in February of 2015, and it became a catalog scent in the fall and winter of 2017, and it was in the Darling and Dashing category. Okay, it is described as a sweet confection of berries, nectarines, and vanilla-laced whipped cream nestled in marshmallow fondant. Now fondant, I do love to bake. I'm quite a baker actually, so I've never made fondant before, but I know all about it. It's made with gelatin, cold water, glucose and glycerin, confectioner's sugar, and sometimes flavoring, and a lot of confectioner's sugar. So confectioner's sugar is that stuff that people use to make icing. So sometimes people call it icing sugar, and it has a lot of cornstarch in it. And I swear, when you smell Pink Haze, there's a fluffy, powdery note to it, and I feel like they kind of nailed the confectioner's sugar part. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break down each scent, and I'm just kind of picking numbers as close as I can. But I'm going to describe what I thought of the scent on cold, what I thought of the scent when it's warmed, the strength, the throw, the longevity of it, and would I repurchase if available. So Pink Haze, I decided to pull out my big bar. The scent appeal on cold for me is only about a 5 out of 10. I never really ordered it, and one day I did warm it from a tester, I believe, down in my laundry room, and I fell in love. So scent appeal on warm actually goes up for me, probably about 7 to 8. The strength is maybe a 7 out of 10, and the throw is a little bit, like strength and throw kind of go together. Strength is how strong something is, and throw is how well does it disperse through an area, like travel. I think the throw might be a tiny bit stronger than the scent. The strength, the throw is a tiny bit larger than the strength of it. It's a kind of a soft medium fragrance, but it does travel. So I gave the throw an 8 out of 10. The longevity, I think I got about 23 hours out of it, and then it really started getting a powdery characteristic, almost like a little bit of a waxy smell, so I decided to take it out. So I had it warming maybe 2 or 3 days, but not constant, so in my bedroom here. Would I repurchase this? Yes, I have 2 bars, and yes, I think 2 bars for me would probably be enough for Pink Haze. You really smell, when I smell this, I think of like an excellent scent to put in if you're having a baby shower, little girl's room, and that's not to say it's just for, girls or that kind of thing, but yes, this is a very young, it's a nice scent. Somewhat similar to sugar, but sugar is a little bit, I find the lemon in sugar kind of gives it more of a vibrant characteristic. This one is more of like a powdery, like I don't think I pick up nectarines at all. Maybe a smidgen of berries. I really noticed the whipped cream, nestled marshmallow fondant, and the other scents kind of just give that like a background flavor. It's almost like it's mainly the confectioner's sugar, and then the flavoring is the nectarines and the berries, and they're very soft. And nectarines, I would say, very, very low. Anyway, let's move on. So there was a clear winner in this week's, preference, and you'll see what it is here in a second. So let's move on. Sticky Cinnamon Bun. Oh, and I must say, for Pink Haze, I had 1 of each, and I lost the top to this. So I have 1 of each. So I put the Party Tester, which is about a cube, maybe slightly more than a cube, in my element warmer, and I put the other one in my mini warmer, and boy was it a small amount of wax. This, I measured a party was about 9 grams, which is roughly a cube, and I think it might vary a little bit depending on how full some of these are, and this only measured 3 grams, so it would take about 3 mini testers to equal 1 full-size tester, and about 3 mini testers to equal a cube, give or take. Okay, Sticky Cinnamon Bun. This came out, I looked and looked, and I kind of gave up because I was getting tired. But this came out at least in 2011, if not before. And it was retired in 2016 in the fall and winter. So it was in that catalog, but it was in the Corner Cafe section. Okay. Sticky Cinnamon Bun is described as cinnamon and sweet icing with warm, nutty nuances. Okay, so I just told you I was a baker. So yes, I've made cinnamon buns, yeasted cinnamon buns from scratch a lot. So I feel like I have a good grip on cinnamon buns. So you have the dough, and then you have it all spread out, and then your goopy topping inside would be something either softened butter or melted butter, brown sugar, and cinnamon typically. Some people might add nuts on top. And then once baked, you can put a glaze on it. Some people would bake it with the glaze of like that on the bottom and then invert it. And then other people would have just the dough with the buns, and then once out of the oven, you could either put a cream cheese frosting on it or a icing sugar kind of glaze on it. Okay, so the scent appeal on cold was about a 7 out of 10. And scent appeal on warm was also about a 7 out of 10. To me, I smell like a cinnamon, maybe a medium intensity, like not like hot, not like very subtle. Maybe I smell like the brown sugar butter a little bit. Do I smell nuts? It says nutty influences. I feel like any nutty influence would just be me being nutty. I'm so tired right now. Anyway. I do not smell any bakery aspect. Like, if you say sticky cinnamon bun, there's no bakery aspect. There's no bun. I think they kind of missed the boat on that one. To me, it's just a cinnamon, sweet cinnamon, maybe some sugary characteristic. It is not a scent that, is going to wow you, that, oh, I've never smelled this before. But I think, if they were to release something like this again, I think they'd, be better off upping their game and putting a little bakery aspect or something in there. Anyway, it's nice, but the strength I had about a 5 or a 6 out of 10. The throw I also had about a 5 or 6 out of 10. And the reason I gave it those numbers is the first couple, I put it in on a Friday night. It was in for a couple hours, and it was really good for those couple hours. I turned it off. The next day when I put it in, it didn't do the greatest. I like the first night I could smell it coming out of the room, like in the hallway and things like that, but then it just really dropped off, and I said I had it in maybe 12 or 13 hours, and that would be generous. So anyway, out of the two, I definitely preferred Pink Haze. So would I repurchase this if it was still available? No, I don't think I would. It didn't wow me. I wasn't really impressed with the performance because it didn't last that long, and the scent, I think you can find that scent other places. Okay, this is getting too long. Most videos will not be this long. It's just that I just wanted to explain a couple things that a couple of subscribers had asked me. So I have my box, and we're going to take out the bin with the singles. We'll pick out one of those. I'm going to pick out 5 bags. I'm going to try not to shake them up too much because it makes a noise. Okay, so the options are, this is probably a Christmas option because I think some of these bigger bags are Christmas. Snowberry, option 1. Option 2, My Dear Watson. Option 3, Pumpkin Marshmallow. Option 4, Clothesline. One more from here. Option 5 for next week's video is Mochadoodle. And from my singles, it's going to get a little noisy. Not gonna look. Okay, I got one here. It is Wild Watermelon. Okay, so let's just recap. We have Snowberry, My Dear Watson, Pumpkin Marshmallow, Clothesline, Mochadoodle, and Wild Watermelon. So if you could vote until Thursday morning when I wake up, I will check and see what the leading votes are, and I will melt whatever two are the leading votes, and I will give you my reviews next week in a shorter video, I promise. So take care. I hope you have a great day in your neck of the woods, and I will see you in the next video.